Hi, I'm Roseanne Quintero, and this is my Module 1 presentation for EDL 854, Communicating Who You Are. A little bit about me. I am married with two daughters, Sophia, who just turned 5, and Ava, who will be 2 in the next couple months. We also have two dogs, Mila and Luna. I'm originally from Michigan, but now I reside in Arizona. I'm beginning my 10th year in education, and in my free time, I enjoy spending time with my family, sports and fitness activities, and traveling. Moving into my education background, I have a bachelor's degree in elementary education. I have a master's degree in curriculum instruction with a focus on applied behavior analysis. I received this degree from Arizona State University, and now I'm currently pursuing my second master's degree in educational administration. I have 7 years teaching experience both in second grade and middle school special ed, and then 3 years of a leadership role, which I am the Dean of Students. This is my third year in that position, and it's the acting assistant principal at the elementary school I'm at. Looking at my current work environment, as I said, I am the Dean of Students. The elementary school that I work at serves grades kindergarten through sixth grade. It's a very rural district. We are a STEM-focused school, which is very exciting, all the technology and science and engineering focus. I'm part of the site and district leadership teams, and my day-to-day duties include school-wide discipline. We recently started a restorative behavior practice system, instructional coaching and evaluation. I do help with truancy and then special education. Moving into the critical reflection piece of this module, 10 things that I took away from the 4 resources that were provided. Looking at that first article entitled Who Has Control of Money in Schools, the first 2 points noted are from that article. And the first one being, it makes sense to have a financial school-based management system. Each site knows the needs that need to be met at their individual site and the needs of their students. And then secondly, financial decisions should be aligned with the school and district's philosophy. I thought this was an interesting point, and I've never really heard it before related to money, but it makes sense because all of those purchases should be aligned to the student's needs, which in turn would be the main goal for your school. Moving into the second resource, financial responsibilities of principals. It was noted that the school budget can be used as a measuring stick. And this one really stuck with me. I thought this was an interesting parallel because in my experience, I've never really been openly discussed with finances as a teacher. And even as my current role as a dean of students, they might say, from district office, like, hey, we have this much in Title I. Do you guys have any supplemental curriculum materials that you guys are interested in or need? Or what kind of consumables do you guys need or materials as far as, anchor charts or highlighters. But as far as true financial reports and budgets, they've never really been transparent in my experience. So to use that as a measuring stick, I thought was interesting. But it does make sense. It does motivate the staff. It establishes systems, as the author noted. And then finally, it is a good way to ensure that your goals are being met. Also, in the second article, it did state that there are many guidelines to abide by when fundraising, and this is very known and apparent as well in our daily duties. But it is important to establish a purpose prior to the fundraiser. I know that there are a lot of important things to know after the fact. All of this money can only be intended for the student body or something that is deliberately discussed. Moving into the third article, a school principal should have, the third article was the financial management functions of the school principal. And in that article, I thought it was interesting that the author said that many principals lack those basic skills of financial literacy and bookkeeping, and thus causing a lot of stress or frustration regarding the school budget. And then next, it is important to revise the budget and your financial plan regularly. This simply ensures that your resources are allocated correctly. A third point from that resource, to stay on top of communication, it's important to inform all necessary parties about updated budgets, especially the district office and your administrative assistant, like in my district, who very much is hands in on the financial piece. Moving into the last resource, the school principal should have more say in how education funding is spent. So Smith states that flexible spending has shown to better align with schools. That kind of goes with that first point made in our first article, saying that site-based spending is the way to go. Secondly, formulas at the state level dictate allocated monies to districts and that they have to be used for specific purposes. And then lastly, it discussed how in charter schools that the allocated amount for each pupil kind of goes to straight to the principal for their spending use. And the author indicated how states should urge that this kind of funding be done in the public sector as well. Moving into identified behaviors, I have identified my principal, and again, I work very closely with her day to day. But principals are told the allocated amount to spend from district. I see this regularly. This is a very common behavior. And simply, hey, you have this much money to spend on this. What would you like us to order? And then the second behavior is an online payment for parents and students to access. And in our district, we have student balances and technology and library fees. And then obviously your lunch accounts, parents have access all online for those. Moving into unidentified behaviors, one of the authors stated to ensure it's the principal's job to ensure salaries are competitive. Our principal in our districts are unaware of what other people make. They have no idea of teacher salaries. And even in interviews, when we come to the salary piece, my principal says, I have no say in that. I am not aware of what you will be offered. So you need to go deal with that component at Human Resources. And then secondly, creating financial reports. Our business and payroll offices in our district complete all of our financial reports. So I have never seen each school or principal do this. And then lastly, keeping accounts. Our principal directly doesn't do this. Her administrative assistant handles the accounts, POs, fundraising, procedures, and things like that. And lastly, moving into the concerns I have as a future principal regarding financial responsibility. Simply, if I do change districts, I know our district is very small in comparison to our neighboring districts. So just different systems and then thus responsibilities. Secondly, I have seen many times that decisions are based on money and not what's best for kids. And I would have a hard time with that situation. And then lastly, simply having little say in that school level control of money and simply told how to spend the funds. I think that aligns with not the direct needs of the school or the vision of the school and potentially not what is best for kids at your site. And that is all for Module 1 here on my resources. Thank you for listening.